This video is going to be hopefully a dual-purpose film study by which I try to look at some of the issues the Lions had in their Thanksgiving Day loss to the Packers from an offensive standpoint, but additionally extrapolating some of the things they do and certain tendencies that maybe the Packers picked up on that allowed them to play a better quality of defense in some of these situations. I will comment on Jared Goff a little bit. All of these turnovers are not on him. I do, however, think there's at least 2 missed throws in the first half that are egregious and uncharacteristic of how Jared Goff has played in the last year and a half plus in Detroit. Nonetheless, some of the turnovers and lack of ball security clearly fall on him. The use of jumbo personnel in the first half against Green Bay is notable. Jumbo meaning a 6th offensive lineman. I did not think it was productive, and at a certain point in time, I felt like it was overusage of that jumbo personnel grouping because there had been, to me at least, no real evidence that it was productive. The offensive line clearly misses Jonah Jackson, the left guard. Run game's been inconsistent. I know they did have 140 rushing yards against the Packers and 464 yards total. The pass pro was surprising struggles at times at left tackle and even at right tackle on one of the plays I'll show you. I thought there was one adjustment that they tried to make in terms of the running back release on some pass routes that would have helped a little more and perhaps could have given Goff quicker options to throw the football. Nonetheless, the Packers were physical in coverage on certain positions. And my final comment will be about the fake punt. I'm not going to illustrate it, to be honest with you, but I just don't see evidence of Packers punt defense earlier in the game that makes it look like that's set up and appropriate to do a fake punt middle of the third quarter. Dan Campbell's been great on those fake punt situations or fourth down situations. This was one that clearly backfired. And when you look at the totality of the situation in the fourth quarter with a fumble down 29-14 and then the failed fourth down with 7 minutes left, even if you kick the field goal, it's still a two-score game. When you combine those with the fake punt in the third quarter, it makes it really difficult to manage. But in any case, let's look at some of the plays that I think were important and some of the missed opportunities. So, first possession. Skipper, number 70, is on as the 6th offensive lineman. I feel like this play is representative of what you got in terms of production in the run game when he was in there. Not saying that it never works, but the Packers did a great job. And here, in this case, you see a wrong-arming defensive end going low, basically compressing or condensing that gap. There's really nowhere for Montgomery to fit through. Inside linebacker, both are able to fit inside C-gap out of that kick-out block, limit Montgomery to a 1-yard gain. I didn't think the jumbo personnel grouping really had any impact. Second possession, this is going to be empty formation out of 12 personnel. The Packers have their base defense on the field, and you got a great job by these linebackers. Goff scrambles for 3. Why is it such a great job? Well, this is a 1st and 10. You got outside linebacker Smith, outside linebacker Geary, and 2 inside linebackers. Watch all 4 of them, well, 3 of the 4, get hands on, jam people up, because it's zone defense. The concept is very similar to what the Lions run often, where you're going to get a hook or a stop by one of the receivers to the boundary, and then a deeper in where Goff is trying to target the middle of the field. That gets jammed up. I'm offering to you, I think it's possible it gets jammed up because the Packers understood the tendency when you have Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown, or in this case, Laporta and a running back into the boundary. That's the route combination you're oftentimes going to get. It has been used as a third down conversion route, and this is a 1st and 10. But nonetheless, the Packers played it extremely well out of that empty, and I think it was important. It ended up leading to 3 plays later this strip sack by Rashawn Gary on Goff. I do still wonder if this is actually an incomplete pass, but they reviewed it. They ruled it to be a touchdown. What's the deal with it from a Lions offense perspective? Well, it's another situation where Goff is double pumping because he's unsure of what coverage they're getting. It looks quite clear to me that this is being free. Pre-snap, Goff may have gotten some other read. He's trying to come back to the other side, then comes back. His attention comes back to St. Brown. Ball pops out, ends up being a defensive touchdown for the Packers. One thing that is available on this play, but Goff doesn't know it because he doesn't know it at the time because he's not looking there, is the free release to the field by the running back. Seemed like it was there all throughout the first half, and you'll see another instance of it here a little bit later. Nonetheless, goes down as a defensive touchdown for the Packers, gets them off to a great start, along with the 2 offensive touchdowns they scored already to open the game. End zone angle, same play. You'll see what I mean in terms of Goff's attention and then him double pumping. I've seen him double pump more in the last 3 weeks, unsure about the coverage, maybe not getting the coverage post-snap that he thought he was going to get pre-snap. I've seen him do it more often lately, so credit to the Packers and other teams who maybe are picking up on some of the route tendencies and giving him a different look post-snap to cause some of these things to occur in the first place. Third possession, another fumble out of empty. Credit to the Packers again. They look like they're setting up to play man. You've got an inside linebacker over here lined up over Laporta, a DB lined up over the inside receiver, St. Brown. Certainly looks like they're going to play man. They motioned the running back out, brought him back in, and then they give Goff a different coverage. They've changed the window post-snap, or changed the picture, post-snap. When you see the running back motion back in, inside linebacker come in, it certainly looks like it's going to be man at this point. Basically, the Packers are jumping into what I would say is almost like a Tampa 2. You're not getting any vertical route for this guy to match here, but you've got 2 high safeties, here, 2 flat defenders, both looking in at the quarterback. Goff is not getting what he wants because of the route. This route here isn't going to clear at all because it's stacked over the top of the linebacker level. Potentially you have a guy running underneath. Goff tries to scramble, ends up fumbling. Clearly he's got to have better ball security. Credit to the Packers for switching the look, if you ask me. Once the running back motions out, comes back in, he thinks he's confirmed man. It's not. It's a Tampa 2 zone, if you ask me, or a variation of it. Skipping forward to the fourth possession, again with the run game. You got 13 personnel. Now, why do they miss Jonah Jackson? Now, I'm not saying that this is an easy thing for the left guard to do, but when he played against the Chargers, first of all, I was incredibly impressed. Combo blocks. What you're doing is you're comboing the D lineman and then moving up to the second level. Watch this linebacker jump through. It's not a horrible job by the left guard. It's just this is the type of thing that Jonah Jackson, in my opinion, would probably be able to do based on the limited amount of time that I've seen him play. And then that linebacker's not in the window in David Montgomery's face, forcing him to spin off. Again, this is fourth possession, first run of the fourth possession on a 2nd and 4 for 1 yard. All of these things combined together created a toxic mix offensively. You still can't turn the football over if you're Jared Goff. Same possession. This is a 3rd and 2. It's a miss by Goff, if you ask me, to Laporta over the middle. And then I'll show you a punt that I just don't think illustrates where the Packers are set up to be faked on. This throw's high. Clearly could have been intercepted after the tip. It's a missed throw by Goff. It just is. There's not really any pressure on him at this point. The ball is, I'd say, at least 2 feet high. It's a ball he's completed multiple times to Laporta and other receivers, but nonetheless goes down as an incomplete. And another punt, this one on the 4th possession. I don't see anything in the 2 punts I've looked at over the weekend that illustrates to me this was a team that was going to be easy to fake on in the middle of the 3rd quarter when you're losing already. Certainly this one doesn't illustrate it to me. I'm sure that at this point other film study people for the Lions have covered that and maybe pointed some things out. So feel free to let me know in the comment section if people have seen something different. I have seen no indication, at least from earlier punts in the game on Thanksgiving Day, that looked like the Packers were going to be set up to be faked on. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. 5th possession, last one that I'll talk about. Again, you have a jumbo formation, meaning jumbo 12, so 2 tight ends. Skipper, number 70, is the second tight end reported as eligible. Ends up going down as a sack for Rashawn Gary. The Packers are in their base defense, but a unique manner of doing it. They've put both outside linebackers to the weak side. In 52 and 91. Smith and Geary are both to the weak side, the boundary side, and then the other remaining inside linebacker, because here's number 7, Quay Walker. The other remaining inside linebacker is lined up to the field, so they're matching that jumbo personnel group with their base defense, number 1, and then a unique defensive alignment, number 2, to presumably stop the run. Goff appears to have checked to something. Play action. Great job in coverage, if you ask me. pretty much all the way around by the Packers. I don't think the jumbo personnel grouping was productive on this day. Has there been instances where it was in 2023 and maybe even last year? Sure. The Packers, if you ask me, used it. They turned the coin against the Lions and Ben Johnson in a manner by which they removed the ability to run the football, perhaps by that look that I just showed you. Still fifth possession, 2nd and 10, throwaway to the back. You got a nice job, if you ask me, by Rashawn Gary down to the boundary against the running back. I thought that they could have done a better job of utilizing the running back in the pass game. You clearly got man across the board. Gary is on Gibbs. The blitz gets free to Goff, and at that point the route, it looks to me like some of these routes by the running back down to the boundary are hard-coded, meaning they're not necessarily choice routes based on the leverage. In this case, Gibbs is reading the outside leverage by Gary and perhaps trying to bring this route back to the inside. Gary's an athletic dude. I believe he was the #1 recruit in the nation coming out of high school from a defensive standpoint. So he does a great job here of getting in the window to the outside, giving Gibbs the illusion or the thought that he can cut inside and be open, and then getting hands on and the ball's already out, the pressure's already there. 2nd and 10 creates a 3rd and 10. Fortunately for the Lions here in this situation, late second quarter, I think about 4 minutes left, 4.5 minutes left. They're able to get a penalty on the inside linebacker up top. Laporta has really scalded a lot of these inside linebackers that have had to deal with him in past situations. Didn't happen on Thanksgiving Day. They were able to get a penalty here and fortunately get a first down. 2 more plays to show you. This is a 3rd and 2. Nice adaptation underneath, if you ask me, for Khalif Raymond to run underneath while Jameson Williams runs the over from the same side. We're talking about originating from the downside here. I like the release by Gibbs, horizontal release to basically force this guy to declare. If you're going to play me man, you got to vacate that space, and you'll see that's the space that pretty much Khalif Raymond runs on top of because Quay Walker has vacated that area of the field. Ben Johnson does a great job of attacking the boundary, if you ask me. Last week against the Packers, it seemed to me like the Packers linebackers, outside linebackers, inside linebackers were really prepared to defend running back releases into the boundary. Ones like this, where the running back released to the field, were far more successful for the Lions. I don't know if anybody's covered that, but you guys feel free to let me know in the comment section. You get an intentional grounding after that first down. Very unfortunate because it ends up leading to a 4th down situation where you can't get the first down. Goff has done this multiple times this year. The pressure is what's notable for me in that Sewell is beat to the inside and then Quay Walker is overlapping to the outside to get in Goff's face. Lucas Van Ness, a rookie, pretty talented guy from Iowa, is also getting in there. Clearly, it's been covered quite well that Rashawn Gary was able to take advantage of Taylor Decker over on the left side. I was surprised from watching the film Sunday and then a little bit Monday that Sewell was beaten occasionally as well. 2 plays later after that intentional grounding, 3rd and 12. Again, a horizontal release by the running back, Gibbs. It doesn't open anything up, but I felt like the Lions adjusted to that in terms of their release package by the running backs to help Goff determine the coverage quicker. In that case, it's a 3rd and 12, so they're going to give up the underneath stuff. 8-yard gain to St. Brown sets up this 4th and 4. Going to be incomplete to Reynolds. Again, you're going to see Sewell lose up to the top side of the field against, I think it's Preston Smith. Pressure on Goff. Ball is thrown early. He's got to throw it early because he's got pressure. It's the same route combination I talked about earlier. Potentially could be open if there was more time, but just not enough time to get the football out. When I talk about the route combination, what I mean is the same one that I illustrated earlier. One player is going to run a little short stop, and then a deeper in cut over the middle is what Goff is looking for to potentially get him the first down. Use that to great effect this year. You can't get that done when you just don't have time up here. Did Jared Goff turn the football over a whole lot? Yes. Does the offense have turnover problems at this point in the last 2 weeks? I mean, that's clear. It's been 7 turnovers. as you saw from the pass pro, and the great job I think that the Packers did defensively in coverage at times, it wasn't all just on Jared Goff. Does he have issues he needs to fix? Definitely. But I think that applies to other position groups as well. You guys let me know first of all, what you thought of the plays that I chose to break down the issues that the Lions had on Thanksgiving Day. We're now 5 days removed from it, so it's been a long time, number one. Number two, let me know if my analysis and the things I'm bringing up here is in line with what other film study or other Lions content creators are saying, because I don't have the time to watch them, number one. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just don't have time at all. I barely had time to get this video produced on a Tuesday morning, 5 days late. Pursuant to the fake punt situation, I haven't seen anything that gives me an indication that it was a smart call. And I do think Dan Campbell and those guys do a fantastic job, and I think they're going to get in the playoffs and have a chance to win multiple playoff games. Having said that, that call is the one part of this that concerns me, because it's the one the players don't have control of. Sewell and Decker have control of being better in pass pro. Goff has control of being better at processing the coverages, number one. Getting the help that he gets from Ben Johnson, meaning I think the running back releases changed in the second quarter to help Goff determine the coverage quicker, get through the reads. Those are things that I think the players can control. They can't control whether their coach goes for it or fakes a punt, I should say, in the third quarter when I don't think it was set up. But feel free to let me know if other people have pointed out things that I missed. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this look at the offensive issues that plagued the team in the Thanksgiving Day loss to the Packers, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.